Hello, everyone. I'm Sarah Muriel with Pasadena Humane, and today our webinar is Planning the Perfect Guinea Pig Home. With us is our Humane Ed Coordinator, Loni Watson. Hey, Miss Loni.
Hey, guys. Welcome.
And our Outreach Associate, Ms. Izzie. Hey, Izzie.
Hi, everyone.
So before we get started, we just wanted to share with you a few webinar reminders. So give me a second to change screens. All right, so if you've joined us before for any webinars, you might know the drill, but we just want to remind you that you're all automatically muted, so we're not going to be able to hear you, but you should be able to hear us, and we won't be able to see you, but you should be able to see us or our screens as we share them. If you need to ask a question, please do so using that chat box under the questions dropdown. We ask that you not raise your hand because we're not using the audio feature for the audience during this webinar. So if you raise your hand, we're not going to be able to hear you. So please go ahead and submit questions in that chat box. I'm going to be the only one that sees your question, and I'll make sure that your question gets over to Miss Loni or Ms. Izzie as we go through the webinar. We do want to remind you that we have virtual story time with animals next Tuesday, July 21st from 12 to 12:30. The story time is geared towards kids ages 4 to 7, but really anyone can join. And we're going to be reading Sticky the Kitty, Sadie Comes to Town by Chuck Hawley, and we should have some animal friends that are going to join us. So to register for story time, please go to pasadenahumane.org/kidsathome. Also, we have another free kids webinar coming up, another wildlife and watercolor with Miss Loni and Lauren Hamlet, our wildlife manager. That is on July 28th from 12 to 12:30, and you can register for that free webinar at pasadenahumane.org/kidsathome. We also want to remind you, if you need to leave this webinar early or if you joined late and you missed something, you can always watch it again. Tomorrow, you're going to be receiving an email with a link to the webinar recording so you can watch it anytime. All right, and with that, I'm going to have Miss Loni join us back on screen.
Hey, guys. I am so excited. Welcome. So before we begin, Miss Izzie's actually going to give us a really great tour of the Critter House, but I wanted to get all of you guys kind of ready to go. So just a reminder that you can either print out our awesome grid paper that we made special for you guys with a really cool logo, or you can just use our regular white paper if needed. So it's not the end of the world if you don't have the grid paper. You can always print it later, so it's no big deal. There's a few other extra things I added that you can have or not have. It's really up to you. But I wanted to use colored markers because I know that they're just easier to see today. And I use very specific colors that are representative of certain items that Miss Izzie is going to share with us. So I'm bringing those in today. And then just like a black marker or a pen is probably really good because you want it to be really dark and you want to be able to see what you're working with. And then finally, if you really need it and want it, which I always love, is just a really cool ruler. And if you don't have a ruler, again, that's okay. You can use an edge of a cell phone as a straight edge, because that's what it's called. You can use a remote control. You can use a lot of really cool things to make straight lines. So, and if you don't really have it, you also have the grid paper. So no worries about that. So other than that, I think Miss Izzie, I think we're ready to go. So I would love to get started with how we start our guinea habitat.
Alrighty, guys. So like Miss Loni said, I am currently in our critter house, and our critter house is an awesome setup that we have that goes ahead and lets us house smaller animals in relative comfort. Now, I originally planned to show you guys our guinea pigs. We had an adorable mama with her 3 piggies here. They were adopted, which is good news for them. It's always great to get animals out of the shelter. This just means that instead of showing you guinea pigs living in their habitat, I'm going to show you a standard habitat that we have here. Now, as you guys can see behind me, we have an area set up for their food. We have a den, and we also have a tray of hay. But what I really wanted to show you guys is going to be what would naturally be in a guinea pig habitat. So if you give me just 1 second, I'm gonna go ahead and show you. There we go. So I bet a lot of you guys have seen this before. These are the standard guinea pig cages that you can buy at any pet store, and they can be very convenient if you have to go to the vet, or if you just need it for temporary housing. We don't necessarily recommend this size just because guinea pigs need a lot of room to roam. So if you have the means to do it, we do recommend having a good amount of space for your guinea pig. That way it can safely wander around and explore without having to get lost in all of the hubbub that's at home. This is a pretty nice standard size cage for a guinea pig. Now, as you guys can see, there is lots of wide open areas. There's enough room for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pigs. And there's a lot of toys, and there's designated areas for both hay and standard food pellets, which is super important. This is another example. So the previous cage that we saw was entirely made out of wood. That is excellent if you're handy or if you have someone to help you out with the dimensions. This is a little bit of an easier do-it-yourself kind of cage. It's using connective pieces that you can usually pick up at a hardware store or even maybe a craft store. And what's really nice about this is that if you add more guinea pigs to your herd, you can always expand it very easily, or you can even downsize if for any reason you don't have as many guinea pigs as you used to. What you can also see in here is the owner actually thought of creating bedrooms for the guinea pigs. So this can be nice if your guinea pigs are maybe kind of getting tired of each other, they need their own space, they can have enough room to do so. Now, this is something we like to call enrichment. Now, enrichment is just a very fine and dandy word for saying entertainment. What's really nice about this is a hammock. So it adds layers to your guinea pig cage. It gives them a way to go up and go down, and it's nice and cozy for them. On the next slide, we have toys for enrichment, which is actually something we have in here as well. So as you guys can see, this is kind of a standard ball toy with a rattle, and guinea pigs, like rabbits, will actually use their teeth to pick this up and toss around their cage. It's actually really cute to see. As you can see in the image, a lot of the toys are made out of wood. Guinea pigs, like most animals from the rodent family, have teeth that continuously grow, so they do need an outlet to be able to chew to file them to be able to stay healthy. Toys are an excellent way to take care of this, and what's also really nice is you don't have to necessarily worry about your guinea pig getting hurt because they know exactly how to handle them and what to do. Now, this is an example of a toy that you can actually make at home. You can take some of the hay that you naturally give to your guinea pig, either in its bedding or as food, and you can put it inside of a used toilet paper roll, as you guys can see. This is super cost effective. You don't have to go to a store to buy it, and most people who own guinea pigs already have this stuff laying around, and it provides hours of entertainment for your guinea pig. The next thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about in your guinea pig enclosures is safe food. Now, a guinea pig's diet is a vegetarian diet, which means they don't eat any kind of meat. You don't need to provide them with any chicken or any of that. They're not going to eat it. But if you wanted to give them good leafy greens and even vegetables or fruits as a treat, that's perfectly acceptable. As you can see in our chart, guinea pigs like carrots, kale. You can give them sweet peppers as a treat, and romaine lettuce. Although a guinea pig's diet should consistently consist of pellets, which is actually what we have right here. We let them free eat, which means we give them a certain amount in the morning and we let them eat as they please. And a pellet should be a standard color, usually about a flat green, and shouldn't have any additives in it. The guinea pigs get all they need from the pellet itself. This is a guinea pig enjoying its salad. So as you can see, you can put in tomatoes, the romaine lettuce. It makes a good crunchy treat for your guinea pig. And what's really nice about this is it gives them the fiber that they need that they may not be getting from their pellets. And like I showed you guys, that is an example of a brand of guinea pig food that you might be able to pick up. But any brand is fine as long as it's a standard pellet without any additives. The additives are usually extra sugar that your guinea pig doesn't need. Alrighty, guys. And that is an example of the different kinds of neat things that you'll need when you're setting up a guinea pig enclosure. What do you think, Miss Loni?
Oh, I'm excited, Miss Izzie. Before we get started, I actually promised Miss Izzie and Miss Sarah that I would practice drawing a guinea pig. And I think that's the most important thing that we need to draw before we get started. So I'm going to draw you guys a little example that we're going to add in our cool little graph paper. But I want you guys to practice your guinea pig first. So I want you to do this along with me. It's really easy. If you know what a bean looks like, you're gonna draw like a shape of a bean. So there you go. This is a better place. So we're just gonna draw the shape of a bean. And beans are like different shapes, but they're kind of this weird shape. You see it, Miss Izzie? Looks like a bean, right? I love beans. So I'm gonna draw a bean.
They're nice and stocky, so that's a perfect shape.
Yes, thank you. Just a little thick too. Okay, so you're gonna add a little ear on one side, and then I'm gonna do a little ear the other side. Let me get in closer there. There we go. And then you guys can practice this, so don't worry, because this is Miss Loni's like second time drawing a guinea pig really small. So there's a little mouth. I just did a little baby mouth. And then I'm just doing a little eye like that, and then another eye here. So if you guys want to practice your little weird guinea pig, that's a very weird looking guinea pig, but it's a little bit closer to what I was drawing last week because I was not practicing guinea pigs very well. So that's a weird example, not my better version. But if you guys want to practice that, then you can do that after once we're done with our habitat. So let's get started. Miss Izzie, I'm going to take my paper and I'm actually going to turn it long ways like that. And then I'm going to readjust real quick, guys, so you guys could see really well. Give me 1 second. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Okay. So Miss Izzie, what are we, how many guinea pigs are we planning for this one?
I think for today, 2 would be a good amount of guinea pigs to plan for.
Sounds good. So what's the first thing we put in our habitat, Miss Izzie?
So the first thing you guys want to do is put down a layer of something soft for your guinea pigs to be able to walk on. So this can include wood shavings. Some people put down standard hay, or you can even put down anything that would absorb anytime guinea pigs have the restroom accidents, and it's easy to clean.
Got it. Okay. So I'm going to split this graph paper in half just for now. And if you guys don't have a straight edge, don't worry about it. But I'm going to split it in half like that because I don't want to use the whole thing. And so this yellow that I'm using is going to represent the ground cover. And what does this do, Miss Izzie, for the guinea pig exactly?
So guinea pigs have very delicate hands. Well, paws, I guess, for the sake of this. Because of that, you don't want to use anything that'll be too rough on your guinea pig's feet, just to make sure that you're not going to cause any unwanted cuts. On top of that, you do want to put a layer of what we call substrate, which is going to be the layer of bedding that you put down in a cage, so that any accidents that the guinea pigs have, any messes that they create, are easily cleaned.
Got it. So that's the reason for that. That makes sense. So after I'm laying down my substrate here, which is what this represents, Miss Izzie, what would be the next thing that you think that we should start off with?
After that, you want to make sure there's a place for food and water.
Okay, so I'm thinking of putting it in this corner. Is that okay? Would that be a good place to put your guinea pig water and food?
Yeah, that's fine. You just want to make sure you have them in a readily accessible area, somewhere that they can get to very easily.
Got it. Okay, So I'm going to use this little square section here, and I'm going to draw a circle, 2 circles that represent food and water, like that. And if you guys don't have colored markers or anything, don't even worry about it. For me, it's just easier for you guys to see it. And I actually like coloring with colors. So that's my water. And I guess I'll just make this the food. And you put the food and water together, correct, Miss Izzie?
You can, or you can keep it separate. It honestly doesn't matter if they're together or separate as long as the guinea pigs can get to it.
Got it. Now what, Miss Izzie? What else would we use?
So the other super important thing that you need in the guinea pig enclosure is a den, somewhere that they can go and curl up in if they feel unsafe or if they just want to take a nap.
Got it. Do we have any examples right now of a den that you can show us?
Yeah, so right behind me is actually an example of a den that we keep in our critter house. We use this for guinea pigs and we also use it for rabbits. And it's very simple, made out of sturdy plastic, and you can just keep it in there and you don't really have to mess with it.
Got it. So I'm just drawing different den shapes so that my friends can kind of see that dens can be different shapes and different sizes. It depends, right, Miss Izzie? Some are really big and some are really small. So
Yeah.
you guys want to practice on the side, just drawing different shapes. I see the one that you were showing us in the back is kind of like an igloo one. So that's kind of an igloo style. So I'm going to add an igloo over here. Is that too far away, Miss Izzie, or is that a good spot for it?
That's actually a really good spot. You don't really want your food too close to your guinea pig den for 2 reasons. One, you want to make sure that it's far enough away that your guinea pig isn't going to be encouraged to hoard inside of its den. But 2, if for any reason you ever have a question of whether or not your guinea pig might be a little sick, you can always put its favorite food inside of the food dish. And if it doesn't come near to go ahead and take its favorite food, you know something might be a little wrong.
Oh, interesting. Thanks for that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add my den here. I'm going to make a really big one. And don't worry, guys, this is like all of them can be whatever shape you want. As you can see, Miss Loni didn't make that perfect, so that's fine. And then, oh, that was loud. And then here's the intro, the inside of the den, just like so. And then if I want to add a little den, Mrs. Izzie, should I put one near it, or can I put one kind of over here in this section?
I would give it a little bit of space. You want to give them as many options to be able to den as possible.
Got it. So I will put it kind of over here then and give it its own little area. And I'll make it a little smaller so that the guinea pigs have different options as to what they want to put in. Okay, cool. So what do we do next, Miss Izzie? What else would we add to this habitat?
So the next thing you'd add would be enrichment things. So toys or even just objects that the guinea pigs can safely explore.
Awesome. So the toys, are they kind of like cat toys or different
Yeah,
toys,
so
like different shapes?
crinkle toys for cats. You can also use rattles or balls with chimes inside of them. You can even just use standard toilet paper rolls. Anything you really have.
Awesome. Are there any examples that we have while I'm drawing that are available for the kids to look at right now behind you at all?
Yeah, so one of the toys that we have is this ball. So it's multicolored, it makes noise when they move it around, and it's easy for them to pick up and move around. Guinea pigs, given the opportunity, will actually be like interior decorators and move stuff around in their own dens to kind of accommodate themselves.
Cool. So they play a lot. They're very social.
They are extremely social animals, and this is why it's very important to adopt them at least in pairs. Because they're social animals, they get comfort and they also get security with being with more than one guinea pig. So the rule of thumb is 2 guinea pigs together, or you can even expand that and create a herd of guinea pigs, which would be 3 or more.
Wow, cool. And that was the examples that you showed us, right? With those big habitats, it looked like that would be more than 1 or 2 guinea pigs.
Habitats that big usually house about 4 to 5.
Awesome. Very cool. So I added some toys right here. Those look like the cat toys, and then also like the ball here. And then how about if I want to give them some privacy, Miss Izzie? What would I do?
Just like the example of one of the cages that we saw earlier in the slideshow, you can create walls to make bedrooms for them.
cool. So I'm going to go ahead and outline this so you guys kind of know this is the section that we're working with. And then I'm going to add a few walls to our habitat. Miss Izzie, what do we make the walls out of though? I'm sure the kids are wondering.
Yeah, so it completely depends what your guinea pig cage is originally made out of. I always recommend using those wire section pieces that we saw in the example with the bedrooms. That way they're very easily connectable. You don't have to worry about kind of anchoring it down. They come with their own pieces that clip on and off, and you can customize it as many times as you want.
Very cool. So I added 2 walls here.
I am so sorry, guys. It looks like Miss Loni cut out a little bit for me. Do you mind repeating yourself, Miss Loni?
Yeah, I think I've lost sound.
There we go. There you are.
Awesome. So Miss Izzie, like I was saying, I know there's one more thing that's super important that I think I'm missing out on. What would that be?
So the other thing that you want to go ahead and have in your guinea pig enclosure would be your guinea pigs.
Oh, your guinea pigs, exactly. But I think one more thing, Miss Izzie. Do you know which?
I think we're also missing.
A litter box, right?
You are completely right. A litter box. Thank you, Miss Loni.
You're
So a
welcome.
litter box is super important to a guinea pig enclosure because you want your guinea pigs, one, to have access to hay, which is kind of what we have here, but you can also actually kind of train a guinea pig to use a litter box. So what you do is you fill it with hay. You have one area where they can eat it and the other area where they can use the restroom.
Awesome. So what I'm thinking I'm going to put my litter box in this area here, just so it's kind of a little bit away from the food. So I'm going to go ahead and add it right here. Like that, friends. And it's just going to be like a box like the one Miss Izzie did. And then I'm just going to fill it in with hay. And then Miss Izzie, do they always go in the litter box only, or can you train them? How does that work?
So nothing in life is ever perfect. Guinea pigs are going to have accidents outside of their litter box. But what's nice about the litter box is that it kind of gives them a space to be attracted to use the restroom kind of on a regular basis, but still account for accidents.
Awesome. Got it. So now, Miss Izzie, what am I missing? One more thing, right?
Now we're missing the guinea pigs.
Awesome. So, okay, friends, because we practiced a little while ago, we're going to draw a bean. So I'm going to draw one bean here. So I'm going to go ahead, and don't worry if your beans aren't perfect. And guinea pigs are pretty big. I'm going to draw one bean here. There's my one bean. Then I think I'm going to draw another bean here just because the space kind of allows for another bean. Like that. And then we said we'll draw, I like drawing the ear first, so I'm going to draw the ear and then the other ear. If you guys can see, I'm going to try to get a little closer there. And then draw another eye and then the nose like that. And then a little eyeball like that. I don't know if you guys can see that. Like that. It's not the best guinea pig I've ever drawn, but hey. And then we'll do another one, another eye. Another eye there, and little ears. Oh, I like that one better, actually, Miss Izzie. That one has more personality.
It's very cute.
Thanks, Miss Izzie. I'm trying. I think Miss Sarah will be happy because I've been practicing. Anyways, thanks, Miss Izzie. These look really good. I really like my habitat, and this actually helps us plan, helps all our friends at home plan, so that they can actually maybe show this to their parents if they're trying to convince their parents. Or like, look, mom and dad, I actually made a habitat for it, right? This is a really good way to get guinea pigs into the house. So I think, Miss Sarah, do we have any questions from the audience?
Yeah, we have a lot of questions. So Miss Izzie, the first question is, my guinea pig hates pellets, sorry. What can I do to integrate pellets into his diet?
So it might be a simple matter of putting small amounts of treats where the pellets are. One of the things that we can sometimes recommend is putting in leafy greens mixed in with some of your pellets. So while the guinea pig is eating the leafy green, it's actually encouraged to go ahead and eat some of the pellets while it's there.
Other question is about male and female guinea pigs together. So if guinea pigs are social creatures and like to be more than one, is it okay to keep male and female guinea pigs together?
So unless you're looking to have a whole bunch of guinea pigs added to your family, we would recommend single sex herds, so either all female or all male. The thing to consider though would be that females are a little bit better at larger herds versus males. You might be better off with only about 2 guinea pigs and a good amount of space to let them work around each other.
That's great advice. Another question is, how would you train a guinea pig to use the litter box?
This is actually a question we get a lot, especially when it comes to critters. So it's more incentive than training, kind of. We always recommend having the litter box somewhere easy for them to get to and filling it with hay. The guinea pig is naturally going to be attracted to the area with the hay, so they're going to be going there most often. And what we found is because they're so teeny tiny, they tend to use the restroom almost immediately after eating. So they're very good about eating on one side and using the restroom on the other. But like I said earlier, you do want to not set your expectations too high. There will always be accidents.
We also want to remind those of you, if you're raising your hand, instead, could you please submit your questions in the chat box so we can see them? This is in the next question was, are open habitats okay for guinea pigs?
Now, when you say open habitats, do you mean there's no top to it or outdoors?
So this person didn't specify, they just said open habitats, but there was a second question from another attendee who said, should you put a roof on the habitat? So maybe we can assume that this is, right, a habitat without simply a roof.
Yeah, so that's actually perfectly fine. Guinea pigs are naturally that great at climbing. I want to say it's because they have teeny tiny feet. But if you have an open habitat, that makes it way easier for you to be able to get in there, scoop up any soiled substrate. Remember, we talked about that being the bedding. And it also makes it easier for you to access your guinea pigs if they're injured or they're sick. So open top is perfectly fine, but you do want to make sure your enclosure is indoors and not outdoors.
Another question we had about the litter box is newspaper okay for a guinea pig litter box?
Yeah, that's fine. They might not be as attracted to it without the hay there, but newspaper works just as well.
How long should you hold and interact with your pet guinea pig?
So that depends on the guinea pig itself. Some guinea pigs are shyer than others and some are braver than others. So through routine interaction and kind of going slow, you can definitely work up to carrying your guinea pig. But do keep in mind that guinea pigs are prey animals. So their natural instinct when they are lifted is to try to scurry away. So you want to make sure you are supporting them both on bottom and top against you so that they don't accidentally hurt themselves trying to get away. If you do see that your guinea pig is extremely antsy, maybe it's breathing heavily, or you're seeing signs of distress, put them down and give them a chance to decompress before you try picking them up again.
One person says that they let their guinea pig run around the house for exercise, but they notice that he pees in certain areas. Is there a way to get him more litter box trained?
So a workaround would be trying to go ahead and not so much limit, but kind of create boundaries where your guinea pig is allowed to go. If it's a male, chances are that he's marking, which is very common behavior for males of kind of any species. What you want to do is have him have access to the litter box, But by enclosing the boundaries of where he's allowed to go, you're minimizing the chance of him peeing and marking in places.
Thank you, Ms. Izzie, for all that fantastic advice. I think that's it for questions. So we want to remind all of you that we have our story times with animals and our kids webinars every week, and you can register for any of those free opportunities at pasadenahumane.org/kids-at-home. Loni and Miss Izzie, do you have any last words for our kids for today?
We'll see you guys soon.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.